please don't be a hero.
What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to another wonderful episode with your Entrevolution host, Evolution. And today, I am super excited to talk to you guys. I am on a high, and I haven't smoked since this morning, so it's legit a natural high. I wanted to talk to you guys today, and as always, I forget, today is day number 16 of 30 days of consistency. And today's topic is the power of circumstance. And the reason I want to talk about the power of circumstance is last night I met an individual on Instagram. You know, networking is amazing. Social media literally is just amazing. And I made a friend on Instagram. You know, we got to talking. He followed me. I messaged him. He messaged me back, and we just got to, you know, conversing. And you know, he's a millionaire and he owns a company. And you know, we kind of like, my question, you know, was like, where'd you get started? You know, and he was like, I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. You know, he was working for $1 billion company. And he was content. You know, he wasn't looking for anything. I mean, you're working a $15 billion company, or excuse me, I didn't think he said 15 billion, but it's $1 billion company. It's like, why would I want to go anywhere else? And then, unfortunately, his wife got breast cancer. And it was, you know, it was years of battle. And you know, unfortunately, long story short, you know, she didn't make it. And, God, just thinking about it is kind of, you know, getting me right in the feels, because he has a 7-year-old daughter, who's a wonderful human being. My God. But I got to talking to him, I got to asking him, and it was circumstantial. You know, had to go through chemotherapy and just had to go through all these different, you know, struggles and hardships and hard times. And, you know, it's probably not common that everybody knows somebody who's gone through chemotherapy or has cancer, but that shit's expensive. Everybody knows healthcare is expensive, and the insurance won't cover certain things. And, you know, she needed a medication to do chemotherapy, and basically that put him 6 figures in debt, credit cards, everything he could possibly do to take care of his wife. He did, because it's like he said, you like turn to this person and say, well, I can't afford it. No, you figure out how you're going to afford it. This is your loved one. And so she passed away. He's in debt. He has a child. And he decides that he needs to do something different. He decides that, you know, the circumstances are not ideal. How is he going to raise a child with all this debt? How is he going to, you know, give her all the time and effort when he's stressed out? How? So he built a company. Inc. magazine did an article on him. It's a YouTube video. You know, he tells his little story. I think it's barbells for boobs or something like that. I know it sounds funny, but that's actually the name. But you know, he rose up from that. Despite everything, you know, he rose up from that. And even though this guy is a millionaire, owns $1 million company, and we just met on Instagram yesterday, we got to talking, and he picked up the phone and gave me a phone call today. And Paul, I'm very grateful for the phone call we had today. But in the process of getting to know someone and talking to someone, and him giving me his time out of his busy day to talk to me, I got to learn a little bit deeper about my why, and I got to learn a little bit more about him. And, you know, for me, my why, like, who doesn't want to have nice cars and nice house and travel all over the world and have all these material things? And, you know, I mean, I'm sure if I had $1 billion in my bank account, you know, this room would be a lot bigger. But he made me really think about my why. And, I've always had this drive to help other people, to give advice, so many different things. But I realized that I've been looking at my parents for such a long time, and I see their circumstance and how they're still in debt, how my mom is 56 and still working, how my dad is a 62-year-old diabetic amputee who is still struggling, trying to figure out how to pay the bills. That conversation with Paul today made me realize that my why is circumstantial. My why is driven by the circumstances that my parents are in. They came into this country, my dad's 17 from El Salvador and my mom's 16 from Mexico. And they've been working ever since. My mom is 56 and my dad is 62. And the only reason my dad isn't working is because he doesn't have a leg, or else he still would be. And my point is this: circumstances, the power of circumstances, just like yesterday, the power of words, the power of circumstance is real. Honestly, not everyone will have the balls to get their shit together and get up and deal with the circumstance in the way that it needs to be dealt. Some people let that hole get deeper. Some people let it dictate them. Fortunately, I have the things that I need. I have a roof, I have clothes, I have food. Hell, I have everything and some. I'm rich. I have a home, I have clothes, I have a warm bed, I have warm food. And I'm not saying that there's not too many people, I'm pretty sure 1.5 miles, 2 miles in that direction, who don't have a single thing to their name, who are living in the streets of downtown Riverside. I'm rich and I'm blessed. My circumstance, my why, my drive, I want my dad, my mom and dad, and it's crazy. Paul said, when we get off the phone, visualize that moment when your dad says, "I'm proud of you, son." And he didn't realize it, but as I'm on the phone and he said, I'm visualizing it. I didn't want to wait to get off the phone. I'm visualizing having that conversation with my dad. And it brought a tear to my eye. I held it back. I'm on the phone, I can't let this nigga know I'm soft. But it brought a tear to my eye because I can't wait. I can't wait to hand over my dad the deed to his home so that he doesn't have to worry about how he's going to pay for his roof. If you knew my dad was a hard ass. Yeah. My dad was a father. He wasn't a daddy, he was a father. And I use those words, they can mean anything to you. This is what they mean to me. And I say daddy, like I didn't play catch with my dad. My dad didn't go to my football games. My dad, he wasn't he wasn't that kind of a dad, because my dad was concerned with keeping the lights on, keeping the roof over your head, keeping the clothes on your back, keeping food in your stomach. My dad had 2-3 jobs when we lived in Los Angeles. You guys remember the big earthquake back in '94? He was at work when that happened. And I'm not saying he was the only one, but he had 2 jobs at that time. My dad always worked multiple jobs till, he got the job before he lost his leg. But he has never stopped working. And despite losing his leg, he was still out in the yard fixing his cars. He's a mechanic by passion because he's never been paid for it. That did not stop him. Look at his circumstances. Every month, my dad figures out how to pay his bills. His circumstances are shitty every month. But he still has a smile on his face. That man is positive. You know, my mom called me after he got his leg amputated. Like, I didn't know he was going to go into surgery. I didn't know he was in that direction. I knew that something was wrong with his foot. And then I get a phone call that his leg is gone. And I'm sitting there. I was at the docks in Tacoma, Washington. I was at the waterfront. And I was like, what the fuck? What? She starts breaking down and my dad gets on the phone. Hey, mijo. In Spanish. Yeah, you know. It happens. They had to, it got infected, so they had to cut it off. But that doesn't hold me back. I feel good. Even immediately after surgery, waking up, he's already dealing with it in a positive manner. You guys, if you cannot take the examples of myself going to jail, going to prison for a while, losing my job, my car breaking down the day they laid me off, broke down right in front of them, right in front of the company. My dad's losing his leg and still maintaining drive. You guys, the power of circumstance is very powerful. Are you going to let your circumstances define you, or are you going to define your circumstance? That's really the only thing you need to ask yourself. That's really the only purpose of today's video. Will your circumstances define you, or will you define your circumstances? I leave that food for thought. As always, you guys, I've had friends who've unfortunately felt they couldn't reach out. And so they didn't. And they left some wonderful people behind. So I ask you, if you need to talk to somebody, if you need to reach out to somebody, if you want to DM me and say, hey, bro, how you doing? I like your videos. Hey, man, I like what you said the other day. Hey, man, I don't think this shit is worth it anymore. I don't want to be here. Reach out to me, please. I don't care who you are. We can be complete strangers. Just talk to me. I'll get up in the middle of the night. It does not matter. Reach out to somebody if you need to talk to somebody, you guys. It is not worth it. I beg of you. As always, YouTube, I love you. If you like my videos, if you like my content, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on those notifications because these videos are coming every day. And as always, if you want to generate income from home, I am also here. And by the way, today was a big day. Today I had my first $100 day, and that's just the beginning. So you guys have a great day. As always, I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.